So we've got an IDB drain here, perfectly maintained, been cleaned out, looks absolutely fantastic. And then we get to the end of it and we've got an Environment Agency drain that the Environment Agency maintains, and just look at the state of it. So the drainage board are getting all this water drained off our land really well. It comes down here really efficiently, and it's greeted with a massive bed of reeds. We've got bushes growing in the centre of the bloody drain, and we all wonder why we're getting flooding.
Hello, welcome to Sunday morning, and it's time for another farm update. We'll get back to Henry in a minute, but in this update, besides looking at Henry and his situation, we are looking at the Seals event site. You can see Tom behind us cultivating one of the fields. This is one of the car park fields with a neighbour's machine. We'll touch on that. Also, we're looking at our caprolite beans that we harvested last week. They're exceptionally wet with a lot of debris in, so we just take a look at trying to get some of that out and get that cleaned up. So let's crack on now with this update. We'll get on to Henry in a few minutes, but just first of all looking at Tom and this machine. Before we get into this week's update, I've just got one or two announcements to make regarding the Seals event. First of all, the really big one is Duncan and Topless, the accountancy company from the East Midlands, are sponsoring, wait for this, a Wardy's Waffle Bar. Now this is something new. There's going to be a few new features at the Seals event. This is the new thing that is going to be happening in the young farmers area. We're having an area around the show that's dedicated to the young farmers, because I think they've been targeted unfairly in the last few months, and so I wanted to do something to really promote them and get them all together and talk to each other. So we're having a young farmers area at the event, but there's going to be a Wardy's Waffle Bar inside the young farmers area. So please look out for this. It will be a fantastic area and lots going on in this. So please keep watching these updates for the latest. Also, the marketing has started in earnest now for the event, which is next June, the 11th and 12th. That's 2025 here at Leadenham on the farm here in Lincolnshire. And they've taken on a guy called Sandy, who did a lot of marketing for the event last year. He's got his own YouTube channel, and he's on a lot of social media platforms called Farm Stock or Farm Stock Official. And he did one with Amazon this last week. And this is just a snippet of that promotional video he's done.
It's a big day for the guys at Amazon. Because I'm here.
No, we're here.
What?
We're here.
Well, yeah, technically I should say we're here filming a promotional video for cereals. But to say that the guys here are excited would be an understatement. They are ecstatic. Today's gonna be fun. The best thing about it is we're all best mates. Here he is. Richard. Drills man. Loves himself a drill.
In the end, I just gave up.
So the team here have asked me to drive the Pantera on the premise that it is so well designed that if I can operate it, then anybody can.
Matt, how could you?
I had no idea he was going to be that bad. He told me he could drive.
Drive? The bloke's never been let off the straight for tractor. Never mind let him out on a machine like that.
Yeah, the results will be worth it.
So if you want to watch the rest of that video, it's really worthwhile watching it. I'll put the link to the video in the description below, so please look out for that, and also follow Sandy on his own social media platforms. Also, welcome to 3 new exhibitors. This is the first of many. They are On Point Spraying Solutions, Optigene and Pananglia. If you know those companies, please let them know we've given them a mention, or if you work for them, hello, and we'll look forward to seeing you next June. And lastly, I'd also like to thank a viewer of these channels of this videos who came to see me this last week. He farms in Cornwall and he came bearing gifts. Now I'm absolutely overwhelmed with this. We have got clotted cream from Cornwall, and of course the old age thing, does the cream go on first or the jam go on first? We're not going to get into that. And we have got some lovely soft cheese as well there, and we've got 2 lots of hard cheese, which is just fantastic. Look at that, just fantastic cheese there. And a jar of, what's this? Strawberry jam, strawberry conserve. Look at that. But fantastic here, from a distillery in Cornwall, he also brought a bottle of gin that is made in Cornwall. Look at that. Fantastic. Erwin, you are a star. I'm sorry I couldn't spend much time with you when you came on Thursday. It was one of those days I had a lot on, but I know you had a good chat with Tom and Ruben and looked around the yard, and I took you around the back of the farm. So I hope you enjoyed the brief visit you did. Please come back if you're up this way. And anybody else who's passing by, if you want to have a look, please let me know. Please come along. But bearing gifts like this, you'll always get entry into the farm. Anyway, great to see you, Erwin, and thanks everybody for your support for this channel. Anyway, let's crack on now into this week's update. It's Thursday morning, and Ryan and Paul stayed in overnight. Had a bit of a catch-up from Forage Aid days when Paul helped us a lot when we started Forage Aid. This was the aftermath from last night, and I didn't realise, or I forgot, the fans were on automatic. So if you just hear that noise, that's cooling the rape and the wheat in there. And I don't know yet, I hope it hasn't disturbed their sleep with the fans coming on so near to the lorry. Anyway, we're going to go down the lane now and get 2 loads of straw loaded. It's about 6:45 in the morning, sun just rising. So I've just arrived at Agri's place at Wigtoft, and to be honest, I didn't know they had a place here. This is obviously where the Farm Save Seed units are stored before they come out to farm. Anyway, we're going to have a look and see if we can get these beans put through a screen and get the rubbish taken out. So this is the unit that we're going to put the beans through, but we've already started and it's not going too well because there's just so much rubbish in there, and also it's sort of heating up and it's damp and clammy. So the beans are in there, dropping into here, but straight away, look at the soil and all the debris with it, and it's really warm, which is making it moist as well, and the beans aren't dry, so it's going up to there. That's where some of the waste comes out. This is the waste, and so that's all the straw. There's some beans in it as well. So that's what it's fetching out. But it's, yeah, really wet, clammy straw. And then that is also the waste, all the fine, smaller stuff, but there's too many beans in there as well, which is difficult because some of the lumps of soil are the same size as the beans. There you go, there's. So this is the trouble we've got when you're trying to take out the beans in the soil. You've got a lump there, obviously that will come out because the soil's a lot bigger than the beans. But when you try and find some that's the same size, that's why the beans are coming out, and there's too many there coming out, so we're going to put it through 2 or 3 times, so a bit of a job. So I'm now just up on the gravity separation table, and this is the final product, but there's still too much soil in. But you can put this through a colour sorter, and that's a machine that picks out colours by different lights, ultraviolet light, and it will sort the soil and the beans out. But there's too much soil in there at the minute still. So this is the samples what we've got. So this is it before it's had anything taken out. You can see all the dark stuff in there is soil debris and everything. That's it when they've taken it out. But there's a lot of soil in there still that needs to come out, and that is the waste. Huge amount of waste. But the problem we've got is that, so the waste, you can just see, but there's beans going with it, and we want as many beans as we can, so it's not really doing the right job at the minute. So back to the drawing board with these beans and getting them cleaned. It's not really doing the job I wanted. I thought it had done a better job than that, but I think the problem we've got is everything is so wet, all the rubbish is so wet. It's just stopping the machine from working properly. Anyway, we're going to carry on and have another go and try and take out the real fine soil first and leave all the pods and all the straw in, and then put it through again and take those out. So I'll leave them with them and see how they get on. I've got Henry here, and we're coming back to look at the area that was flooded. I've had lots of people ask how you're getting on, what's happened in your area, so it's time to do an update on that. really, I think the long and short of it is nothing's happened, has it? Since
No.
last year?
No,
Nothing at all.
They've repaired our breach in the riverbank at Short Ferry because I
Yes.
think they had to do that to get the road open.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that public road being
no.
there, I think we'd still be in a mess.
Yeah.
But then nothing else has happened.
No,
Absolutely nothing.
nothing.
We were meant to have meetings with Environment Agency in July,
Yeah.
which you were meant to be with
That's
me at.
right.
They got cancelled.
Cancelled.
We can't get any response from anyone. There's a breach in this bank that we're going to go and have a look at in a minute that hasn't been mended.
You've put all your land into SFI because at least that way you're guaranteed an income.
So I've been told that if that winter bird food gets flooded, I'll get paid because it's like a force majeure.
Yeah.
But I'll have to re-establish the
damaged area.
the mix.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I think it will flood though if we get rainfall because nothing's happened.
No.
But that is my best land, my most productive land, easiest working land, and I can't farm it.
Soil is just fantastic. So it'll grow anything, won't it? Potatoes, veg,
yeah.
the lot.
And now all we can grow there now is bloody winter bird food.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart.
I
to be honest.
know it does. It's just absolutely criminal. But we'll have a look and go around there in a minute. What we'll do now, we'll just look at this dike here that should be maintained and nothing's been done to it. A nicely maintained IDB drain there, you can see, cleaned out. That's a bridge there, that's what that just is there. Then it comes into the EA controlled one here, and then just look at this. Completely rubbished up. Willow bushes growing out the bottom channel there.
Let me look behind you there.
Yeah, and look at that one. I mean, that just shows it. Look at that tree there. And they think this is acceptable. Right, Henry, let's go and have a look around here at this bank, this river bank that's still gone. So just looking through there, that channel's mostly blocked. Willows here. Look at that, all through there. Not only have we got a river channel that's mostly blocked.
I must look after my godfather because he's only a short arse.
Oh, you lose me in this. So, Henry, what's your opinion of where we're stood at the minute?
Well, I could start swearing, to be honest. I mean, look at the state of it. There's nothing. There's been no maintenance in this channel for, well, ever.
Ever. Look how wide that should be. You can just see it should be at where I'm pointing now on the edge there, but it's very narrow in the bottom. There's nothing been done here at all. It's got no holding capacity of water or flow, because I think that's what people forget, Henry, that if a river's done out properly, it will hold water, won't it?
Yeah, it will. And people talk about slow the flow. Well, in this part of the world, it's utter nonsense.
Yeah.
We are flat, dead flat,
Yeah.
from Lincoln to Boston. So that means we need water out to sea as fast as possible. And the way to get water out to sea as fast as possible is having a clean, efficient channel profile. That isn't.
No.
But we've got bigger issues here now.
Yes, we have. Now, just here, we have something. It looks a bit rough here. It looks like
I'm going to
this.
jump in here.
You get down there and I'll come down with you. This is where the riverbank collapsed.
Just so you can get a scale.
Look at that now. The riverbank collapsed here in January. That's it. We're in as well. So we've got the water level just through there. Well, you can't see water. All you can see is rubbish. Henry stood right at the bottom of the breach, and you can see through here out onto open farmland there.
So in the winter, as soon as we get any significant rainfall, levels are going to go up. It's going to spill through here. This is my neighbour's land, but it's going to flood his land. But stupidly, because the EA haven't been bothered to mend this, it's going to flow into that internal drainage board ditch.
There.
Or it gets, I don't think that is a drainage
Yeah.
board ditch, but eventually it does. And they're going to have to pay for diesel and electric to pump it back into the river. If they mended this, gravity would do the job.
Now, if you look here, you can just see that's the soil, that's the bank. The bank's, it's sort of heat, it should be heat all domed up there. That's all been washed away into this internal dike there. And the EA apparently have said here, Henry, haven't they? The reason they're not doing it is because they're short of money.
Right, well, they're saying to us they're short of money. Just the other side of that grown-up drain is a farm. They bought that last Christmas time.
Yeah.
For, I don't know, about $1.5 million. Would there not be better investing that $1.5 million cleaning these waterways out?
Absolutely.
I think yes. What are they doing with that land?
I know. And then also, all the other repairs they're doing. We heard a story where the IDB had been quoted to do a repair they gave a low figure, but the EA accepted a quote from their preferred contractor at about 5 times the figure.
Yeah.
And so what's going on there? And then we've got capital project money that they hadn't spent on capital projects, went back to the Treasury. Why didn't they ask for that to be put into maintenance?
Well, this is the thing. The focus has got to be on maintenance.
Yeah.
I think that they seem to have money for capital expenditure, but we need that money in the maintenance budget.
Yeah, we do. That's the biggest thing what we need, and we're just not getting that. But then when you look at it, what are they spending the money on? Are they spending on rehoming badges in banks that's cost hundreds of thousands of pounds?
Well, clearly the priority isn't in keeping people dry.
No.
Because these waterways are just absolutely full of
and
rubbish.
producing food. And you could actually say as well, the Environment Agency are contributing to our lowering of our food supply.
Yeah.
Because we were 65, 70% self-sufficient. We're now struggling to be 60. When you look at things like this and this hole in the bank here, because of the EA not doing their job, they're actually meaning we need to import more food from abroad.
Yeah.
And I can't understand it, why they're not accountable.
I know, exactly. And as well, nature decline.
Yeah.
This is going to flood. It's going to kill, all that nature in the field. It's going to be dead this winter again.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it will. What we'll do now, Henry, we'll go back round on the road and we'll go and look at your land that you've put into SFI that was flooded really badly.
Yeah, righto.
That's the breach just down there where Henry stood. And then just down here, look at the water. All this should be clear. None of it has been cleaned out. Environment Agency, you really are not fit for purpose. Driving back now along this IDB maintained drain to go and look at Henry's land, and just look at that, how that's maintained, all down to the water channel, all been weeded out down to the bottom, banks cut, done properly compared to what we've just been to. Disgraceful, the Environment Agency. So I'm with Henry now back at Short Ferry. This is the area that flooded on the outer edge of Lincoln. And how many of you were flooded, Henry? Was there 5 of you altogether?
No, 7 of us altogether, 2,000 acres.
Yeah, 2,000 acres, 7 people here. And when you see there's Henry's farm, you can just see in the distance there, that's the one that was completely submersed in water, and the only way to it was with a boat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Getting there. And how long was it underwater for?
6 months.
So,
and where we're stood now, we wouldn't be able to see you at night. We'd be completely submerged.
Because those electric poles just through there where that yellow badge is on, I know the water was just near that yellow marker, wasn't it?
It was
that deep.
Yeah.
And it flooded first of all though in October.
Yeah, we had overtopping after Storm Babette in October. And then it just started to dry up at Christmas time. Then we had Storm Henk in January, and that's when the bank burst, and that's when we were really flooded to
badly.
Real death.
Yeah. And of course, we've got the problem as well is I think in Lincolnshire there is still a huge number of pumps and motors and electrics that are all ruined from the floods. And apparently, I heard the other day that there's £5 million being sidelined by the Labour government to repair all this infrastructure, IDB infrastructure, but they won't release the money until after the budget. Yeah. And then the problem is they won't get the money until the work's done. But the people who are going to do the work and who are going to repair all the pumps and repair all the electrics want the money up front to do it. So it's stalemate.
I know.
It's just crazy.
I know. Just when we're going into a period, a wet period, when we need these pumps running, it's not good.
And then just touching on the Flood Recovery Fund, which I know, like you've just laughed at that, and it's a joke, isn't it?
Because so there's 7 of us here that were probably the worst affected in the country, I dare say.
Yeah.
We're still, we weren't eligible in the first round. The government, then the Conservative government, promised an extra 50 million, which I was pleased about. I thought, finally we'll get it. And we've heard nothing since. No. So since the general election, absolute radio silence. I've been trying to get hold of RPA, trying to get hold of MPs. We cannot get hold of Labour MPs, that is.
Yeah.
Can't get hold of anyone. And I'm just frightened that this 50 million is going to get swallowed up and we're not going to see any money.
Yeah, I know, this is the problem with it. And I think, and again, I understand that everything that the Conservatives agreed to, such as that Flood Recovery Fund and the pilot project that was for Lincolnshire, that the government really worked hard and DEFRA worked hard in getting, that Lincolnshire was going to be a pilot for some of the main rivers being demained and taken off the EA responsibility back to the IDBs. That's now on hold as well. And I think everything that the previous government had agreed or virtually earmarked and were going to do, it's now gone back to this government and they've got to scrutinise it and pull it apart to see whether they're going to do it or not. And you know now it won't get done.
I know.
So let's just have a look in this here, because you've got a cover crop here that, well, as a cover crop or an SFI crop that you've really been forced to do.
Yeah, so again, my best land is now in with it's called winter bird food, or AHL2 is the code for it on SFI.
Yeah.
And we're getting paid. This was drilled in June. There's white. What is there in here? There's oil radish. There's millet. There's all sorts of different plants in here. They're going to seed now. We'll leave this in all through the winter, and then the birds will eat it. Now, whether that's geese and ducks swimming over the cross of it eating it, or songbirds, I don't know. But
and you're getting 850 a hectare.
That's right. So it is quite a good paying option, but I'd earn a lot more than that if it was growing potatoes, sugar beet, milling wheat, all the rest of it.
But if you look at it, you had a flood in 2019. You got no income off this land then. You had no income off it this last year. So that's 2 years out the last 5 with no income.
Exactly.
So if you spread your profitable years out and include those years of nothing, this is actually more profitable.
Yeah, we can't risk it. No. So that's why we're doing it. It's a no-brainer for us here. Yeah. But
let's just have a look inside and just see what the plants are. Look at, you see that just shown. Now look at the soil around there. Look at that. Near as peat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful stuff.
Look in there. Look at that. Look there. Just look at this soil here. Look at that. You can just see it will grow anything. And yet Henry's forced to do this. For those people who say, watching this and say, why are you doing it? It's not right. No, it's not right, but Henry cannot stand the financial losses that flooding keeps giving in this area.
I can't risk it.
And it's down to the Environment Agency not being held to account. It's down to just so many things that this is the only option to remain and get some income.
We can't produce food on it, so we're forced into this, but I am sure if we had these rivers cleaned out properly in this part of the world, I'll be able to produce food here again.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Let's just go back up to the bridge here, and we'll have a quick look up there where that pumping station is, and just have a look at the river, because that's full, isn't it? That's all silted up. Yeah. We're on the bridge now, and this whole area behind Henry was flooded. You can see his farm there. This is what it was like when it was flooded badly earlier this year. So it was that bad. Right, Henry, just look at this. What's been going on here?
So I was onto the Environment Agency. These reeds, they were further out, big reed just obstructing this river. The river's actually up a bit now, so you can't see the extent of it. There was a boat here and a reed cutter cutting these reeds back, but they've only done half a job. I mean, why have they left all that in there? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they have. They should have cleared it right out to the bottom of that bank. And you see they've put some reeds there. But again, the trouble with that is the minute this river rises, that'll be straight out into the channel again.
Yeah, I know, and it'll wash down and block a bloody bridge up or something.
Yeah.
They're useless.
Yeah.
They've gone to that time and expense of getting someone here, man and a machine here to do a job, and they've only done half a job. Or not even half a job.
Not even half a job when you look. There's all the reeds on the edge of the river there. And then looking this way, this is the Tirret Arms pub. Again, people are not quite aware of where this is. This is on the east of Lincoln, and this eventually goes into the Witham, and then the River Witham goes through the middle of Boston and out to sea. Also, Henry, I think it's worth touching on one or two things. I sometimes get negative comments about it. People say that this is a floodplain. Well, let it flood. What's the problem?
It pisses me off, to be honest, those comments. 25% of Lincolnshire is below sea level, so if that's what you want to call a floodplain, fine. But that 25% of Lincolnshire produces 30% of the country's vegetables and fresh produce. So if we say that we're going to just sacrifice this low-lying arable land to water, we're going to have a lot of hungry people.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't carry on like that. No. There's a lot of communities, people's houses in this part of the world. We've got to protect and maintain these waterways.
Yeah. So you can see this road now, and the traffic it carries on it. It's quite busy because the detour around here. What is it, Henry? About 13 miles?
Yeah. More? When this was flooded and shut, to get from there to there was about 14, 15 miles.
Yeah, there you go. You see, and that is why that bank. That's why the bank up there was repaired. I don't. I can just see it. So that bush there, it's just to the left. That sort of darker area on that far bank. That's where the breach was, and that has been repaired. But that's why it's repaired, to open this road.
Yeah, nothing to do. If I was in the middle of nowhere, there was no public road, it'd be like that other breach. It'd be left.
So that's it. I think you've seen now what it's like out here, and in the time when we were last here, nothing's been done really at all anyway, has it?
No, they've
nothing.
just done an emergency repair there, but nothing else has happened.
No,
And I just fear as soon as we get a wet time, we're going to be back to square one.
Yeah, that's it. But everybody, quite a lot of people always ask how you are, Henry, and what's going on. So, you know, everybody thinks about you regularly, and thanks for your time here and showing us this area and putting up with well, it's just the Environment Agency inadequacies and the fact that they can do what they like. The thing that annoys me though is the fact that the wildlife destruction in this area would be horrendous.
Yeah.
And if you or I did 1/100th of the damage to the environment and wildlife that the
We'd be
EA
locked
do,
up.
we're locked up.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. But thanks, Henry, and we'll come back again in a few weeks' time and just see what happens and just keep. We need to keep holding EA to account. Thank you. The cereals event site is starting to take shape. I'm broadcasting grass seed on all the walkways, the service roads and the intermediate areas, car park, everywhere where there aren't crop plots. We've got various little compact tractors working in the background here, putting the plots in and rolling, cultivating. So while the weather's good, there's lots going on. Under these fleeces, there's oilseed rape. You can just see the plants there, and the reason why the fleeces are down is to stop the cabbage stem flea beetle from eating the plants, and it also creates a bit of a micro environment underneath there. That's why they're looking quite well. Got other little areas planted there with various crops. All the pegs denote various exhibitors. There'll be marquees up here as well. This is a service road through here, but we're still going to put grass seed on it to make it withstand the weather a bit more. You can see that's all been cultivated there, and that's been cultivated and seeded and rolled as well. So different plots or crops have been drilled in here, and this is the plan looking that way down the field. Jonathan's putting some more plots in here. Another little surprise that we've got for you is this. Thank you very much to Farrell's for coming with this X9 and their flexi header to get some more of these baked beans done. Hugely grateful for this. How many tons we'll get, we're not sure, but we need to get everything we can. So we'll have a bit of a look at this and a bit of a close-up at it. See the support wheels on the back of the header here. I don't really know the ins and outs and how it works. We need something from Farrell's to talk us through it another day. But the knife does contour follow the ground. You can see it's got a conveyor belt inside it. So we haven't got enough going in the tank to actually register a yield. And there they are going in. So yes, as you can see, very few. We need to get as much as we can. That's soil in that corner. So the last bit in this field, and then we've got one more field of 67 acres to do. But there won't be many beans off that either. You can see there's not a lot going onto the conveyor belt at all. So just looking on the floor, looking at some of the pods, you can see there's a pod. There's a bean, just one bean in that pod, two. There's a few beans on the floor, there, and there are a few more pods. See that plant? There, but they are just so low. There's a pod there, but it's the rain that's pushed them down here. That's the safety device in the combine. It's all switched off, but Ruben's just got out. Probably shouting at him because he's off the seat and the engine's running, I'm not sure. Anyway, that's it, stopped now. It's Saturday evening, about 10:20 at night. I've just come back from finishing rolling the grassland on the Cereals event site. So great news there. So all that's seeded now, the car parks are seeded, the main walkways, all the big areas. All there is to do is the very small narrow walkways between plots which need doing by hand. But otherwise we've had a really good day. Tom's got everything harrowed in with that 12-metre roller maximum, so that's great. Thank you to our cousins relations for that machine. It's done a fantastic job. Anyway, I've also got another important announcement. Ruben has just finished combining those Capulet beans with that John Deere combine. What an achievement. We didn't start until probably maybe, was it 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock this afternoon, and he's done about 75, 80 acres maybe. But I know you might think with a big combine like that, that's not a lot, but when they're only an inch high off the floor and a lot of the bean pods are actually on the soil, it's fantastic. We'll have a full debrief and a full chat and a full sort of talk about these beans and a way forward for them, what we're going to be doing for the future. But all I'm saying at the minute is I'm really pleased we've got those finished. That's some more fields cleared. So hopefully the next day or so we're going to be starting drilling. We've got 2 or 3 fine days coming, maybe rain tomorrow night, Sunday night. But hopefully we'll get some acres and get some drilling done Sunday, and if we don't get too much rain Sunday night, we'll get some done Monday as well, and hopefully some sewage sludge done and that incorporated, and we need to put some mustard on as a cover crop as well after that. Anyway, lots going on if we can keep a fine day or two, but the biggest story is at the minute we have finished harvest for 2024. Thanks ever so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this update, and we'll see you midweek.